Nurture and support. Nurture and support. This is a podcast theme song. And it's really short.
Nurture and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nurture and Support. I am, as always, Mel at Karmic9 on Twitter, and we have a special guest this week. Do you want to introduce Matt Kelly, or do you want me to?
Why don't you, Mel? You're the one that wanted him on.
We're gonna start a new episode of Jerk Wars.
Yes.
New contestants and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we have special guest Matt Shivers back, voice-over artist extraordinaire. And
How did I even get here?
You hear him at the end of every episode, and he's actually come back despite Kelly.
And I'm still waiting for my royalty check. Every episode, I hear I'm on the end of every episode. Not one dime from you people.
Thanks for listening,
I haven't
Matt.
gotten a dime either.
You would know that if you actually listened to the show.
That's true. I listen. I keep coming back. What do you want from me?
Oh, and over there's Kelly.
Yeah. At KELYTHUL on Twitter. Hi, everybody.
At Matt Shivers VO on Twitter, which I always fail and forget to mention.
That's great. We always put a link in the blog post when you're here, because that's what we do. We share.
Hooray!
So are we ready to just jump into recommendations?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So I really like my recommendation this week. I don't do a lot of comic books, y'all. So this is one of my rare comic book recommendations. And this isn't a web comic, it's an actual comic. And it's called Rat Queens. Have either of y'all any familiarity with this one? It's fun.
I am not familiar, no.
Okay. Rat Queens is basically kind of a Dungeons and Dragons type world, but instead of it being a bunch of guys, it's a bunch of chicks who are behaving badly in a D&D type world, and I just love it. I think it is so fun. I want to read you the little blurb about it on Comixology, which I think pretty much describes it better than I could come up with the words for. So, here goes. Who are the Rat Queens? A pack of booze-guzzling, death-dealing battle maidens for hire, and they're in the business of killing all God's creatures for profit. It's also a darkly comedic fantasy series starring Hannah the Rockabilly Elven Mage, Violet the Hipster Dwarven Fighter, Dee the Atheist Human Cleric, and Betty the Hippie Hobbit Thief. This modern spin on an old-school genre is a violent, monster-killing epic that's like Buffy meets Tank Girl in a Lord of the Rings world on crack. So
That's a lot to take in there, Mel.
I know. I was
lot.
sold when I read Buffy meets Tank Girl.
Now wait a minute. Wait a minute here. Did I hear atheist cleric?
Yes, you did.
Who is she praying to?
She's not.
Oh, okay.
Then why is she a cleric?
She's just wearing a cloak, Mel. That's all. It's a
I
mistaken
know.
identity.
It's great. Actually, she's an atheist because she came from a tentacle worshipping god cult, and she kind of left her little cult and decided she didn't believe in any of that crap, and she went out into the world and hooked up with the Rat Queens.
Wow. So if there's not a tentacle god, there could be no god. That's her thought process.
No, she just decided, given that she was raised in a cult, that when she left, she decided she wasn't going to fall into that trap again. So
I was raised tentacle god, and I've got a lot of tentacle god guilt.
Yeah.
I don't practice tentacle god anymore. I'm out.
In your orthodox tentacle god, where it'll be the full long tentacles, right? So,
right.
Okay.
Right. With the suction cups on the ends.
That's right. Never mind.
I don't know where you're going with that one.
Yeah.
No place good.
So it's written by, and I'm going to butcher all of these names, everyone. I am very sorry. But anyway, it's written by Kurtis Wiebe, I think is how you say his name. It's spelled Wiebe. The art up into issue 9 was done by Roc Upchurch. It's now done by a name I'm really going to butcher. Stjepan Sejic, I think is how you say it. I will have a link to that because I can't spell it either without having to look it up. There'll be a link on the blog post to all of that. He started in issue 9. The current issue is issue 10. But on May 6th, as many of these comic books are doing these days, they're putting out collections. So there's a volume 1 that is called Sass and Sorcery. That is issues 1 through 5. And volume 2 just came out on May 6th. And it deals with the tentacle god we have been discussing. And the title of that one is, let me see, Far-Reaching Tentacles of Nirgoth. So I have not finished volume 2 yet, but I enjoy this series so much I just had to share because it's great. Buffy meets Tank Girl in Lord of the Rings. It's so much fun. You've got a bunch of boozing girls who are running around when they're not killing monsters. They're drinking heavily, swearing more, and basically having indiscriminate sex with all sorts of critters that wander through the town of Palisades. So it is fun. The artist himself basically kind of described it as Lord of the Rings meets Bridesmaids, and that's pretty accurate.
So looking at some of the art, I really dig the art.
Yes.
You had me at boozy D&D girls. Indiscriminate sex with critters makes me a little uncomfortable. But
well, I'm talking orcs and things like that, you know.
Okay. I don't know if there was a callback to the whole tentacle thing. I don't know.
There possibly is. Yeah, I'm not going to go there with the tentacle god yet, but it could happen. So.
Well, this is very cool. I like like I said, I like the art. I'm looking at the page in Wikipedia. I'm gonna check this out. This is awesome.
I really enjoy it. I think it's great fun, and unlike many of the portrayals of women in a lot of comics, this one is drawn very differently than most of them, and I really like it. So
what would you say the primary differences would be, Mel?
There's not all of the huge, skimpy clothing and inappropriate outfits. I mean, this is a Dungeons and Dragons type world, so you have some of that, but I get really irritated at the ones that are set in modern day, and then they have some chick in something that is absolutely, let's put it this way. Kelly has had to listen to me gripe and complain about the inappropriate zombie-killing wear of a certain character in The Walking Dead.
Waiting for it to come up.
Yes, I don't let these things go.
Yeah.
Who's dressed in clothing is a problem.
Who's dressed?
She's there, you know. No, but now, so Rosita, who was costume consistent with the comic, which I think kind of underscores Mel's point.
Right.
Her early day outfit was kind of paramilitary Hooters girl, and so probably not the best gear.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue against you on that one, Mel.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, there's a big movement to fix all that, but you know, in places, I just enjoy this one in that it's written by a guy. It's very female centric, and it's got a lot of women behaving very badly. So I like it. It's fun, and I think most of you will really enjoy the humor inherent in it. It's you know, it throws out a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes type of things. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, and it's just fun.
Are there any tentacle-in-cheek jokes? Possibly.
I haven't finished volume 2. I'm not current yet.
Okay, that's my last tentacle joke. I promise.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well,
hey, you know, and I just like to point out, Matt, if you listen to the show, these are the kind of recommendations you could hear on a weekly basis. So just FYI.
What channel is this on again?
Yeah, it's UHF. It's
yeah.
Doing a 10 thing. I don't know. It's tough.
Right.
Fun. So I think that's going to kick it over to Matt.
All right. So, guys, big week for movies. Big movie out right now. Avengers. And that would be the easy recommendation. And that's not the path I'm going to take. Okay. I would say go see it. It was pretty awesome. But I'm going to switch companies. I'm going to go DC small screen, okay? The Flash TV series is my favorite show on TV right now. I absolutely love it. I love what the CW is doing between the Flash universe and the Arrow universe. They're crossing over quite a bit. I think DC small screen is getting their stuff together, maybe taking cues from Marvel, but they're doing a great job. I really like the cast. Grant Gustin nails it as Barry Allen. You've got veteran actor Jesse Martin. He plays Detective Joe West. Tom Cavanaugh returns to TV. He was probably most famous for Ed from NBC, which I'm still bitter at NBC about for canceling. But it's a great show. You may or may not remember The Flash from the 90s. You guys remember the show from the 90s? Well, John Wesley Shipp played Barry Allen on that show. They brought him back to play Barry Allen's father on this show. So there's a tie back to that. Amanda Pays played Tina McGee in the 90s show. She's playing the same character on this show. And Mark Hamill made a return to this universe as the Trickster. He played the Trickster on the original 90s TV show. But it's not like they're just going back to the well. It's new stuff. It's original stuff. The Rogue, they're establishing the Rogues Gallery that the Flash contends with. Heatwave, Captain Cold, Reverse Flash has been a big part of this season. And going through the season, there are only a couple episodes left. It's season 1, and it feels like the show's been on for much longer than that to me. So I really dig it. It's event television when I can watch it live, which is rarely ever because I've got 2 little kids. But it's always the next day I got to find out. I got to hit it before spoilers out on social media. It's a great show. The effects are fantastic. The acting is sometimes hit or miss, but that's not why you go. It's a comic book on TV, and in the truest sense of the form. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's fun. So if you watch Arrow on CW, that's a dark show. That's essentially, well, we're gonna say it's Oliver Queen, but it's really being written as Batman. But they couldn't do Batman, so they did Arrow instead and made him very dark and brooding, and it's very much Bruce Wayne. That's a darker show. The tone is darker. On Flash, it's a lot of fun. There's humor. There's just this more atmosphere of fun. It's sort of the metahuman world versus regular criminal element, but they're starting to cross over now a little bit, which is great. So that's my recommendation. The only one downside to the Flash on the CW is the character Iris West, and Mel's laughing already.
She wear Hooters outfits or something?
No. And it's not. Candace Patton plays Iris West. It's not even her fault because she's a fine actress. It's the writers are writing her so stupid and naive, and just like one blogger put it pretty well. And in fact, she's like a 5-year-old, trapped inside a woman's body in some of the behavior that she displays. And I won't go into spoilers. I know we're almost done with the season, but I won't go into spoilers. If you watch the season, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. I hope the writers get better in writing Iris West. Everything else is, I think, pretty good. It's fun to see Tom Cavanaugh chew up the screen. It's fun to see Grant Gustin play Barry Allen, a younger Barry Allen than I was expecting. But when you watch the show, you figure out why, and it works. He came from Glee. I don't know if either of you watch Glee at all.
Absolutely not.
Well, I would play the card. Well, my wife did, and that's how. But I sat down and watched Glee with my wife. That's a good show. But yeah, The Flash on CW. That's my recommendation this week. Good stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna out myself in not having a very strong DC backstory knowledge, and so Reverse Flash has intrigued me, and I'm just wondering, does Reverse Flash run backwards, or is he like really, really slow?
No. It's more of a personality thing. Reverse Flash is a villain, and the Flash's costume, the hero, the Flash, his costume is red with yellow accents. Reverse Flash is mainly yellow and black with red accents. So they've done that very well on the show. There's a twist regarding Reverse Flash that I'm not going to bring up. I'm not going to talk about. If you haven't watched the show yet, I certainly don't want to ruin that for you. I think you'll see it coming. It's not something that I think they're trying to hide, but I won't say any more about that. But yeah, Reverse Flash. In the comics, there were a couple of different Reverse Flashes. One of them being, I believe, sort of secondarily named Professor Zoom. That's kind of part of the old Silver Age Flash DC universe. Very fun. But yeah, Kelly, I think you might like it.
It does sound good. I just haven't had a chance. And now, is it on Netflix too, or?
No. It's I watch it on Hulu Plus, so there's a time limit
Okay.
and when you can get to it. So I guess that would be an issue if you wanted to go back and watch it from episode 1. I don't know if they still have all the episodes out there. Netflix does that, or Hulu Plus does that with some of their shows. Some of the shows seem to last longer out there with first episodes and first through the rest of the season staying. So I don't know if that's still the whole season's available for viewing.
Well, sounds good. I've had some folks recommending Arrow, and this sounds I wouldn't mind starting with the lighter side, but it sounds like I'm probably going to need to get into both if they're doing crossover too, just to kind of fully appreciate some of
Well,
that.
here's the thing about that. I started watching Arrow at season 2. I didn't watch the first season. It didn't look interesting to me. For whatever reason, I didn't feel like giving it a shot. I started watching Arrow when they brought in Barry Allen on the show initially. So they brought in Barry Allen pre-Flash. He was just a regular forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department. He wound up catching this case in Starling City, where the Arrow hangs out. And Flash is one of my favorite comic book heroes of all time. So I was like, okay, let's see where they go with this. And I knew that they'd wanted to do another show. So I gave it a shot, wound up getting hooked on Arrow because of it. So Barry Allen brought me into the Arrow, which took me to the end of that season of the Arrow, which brought me into the first season of the Flash. So there's that. I still haven't watched the first season of Arrow, and I don't think I will.
Cool.
I
Sounds
tried to watch it, and I didn't get very far. Despite all the shirtlessness.
Despite all that, there's the title of this episode. Despite all the shirtlessness.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. That's great. All right. I'll go next. And I know we are an audio experience, not a visual experience, so this will really only be for the benefit of Matt and Mel. But Mel, you may recall back a few episodes ago when I talked about this little guy, and what I'm doing for the folks listening at home is I'm holding up, it's about a 4-inch square little drone. It's an AR Parrot drone, mini drone, and it's awesome, and I recommended it, and I thought, pretty good recommendation, right, Mel?
Yes.
Okay.
I still need one.
So, if a 4-inch drone is
Oh.
good, then maybe this 2-foot box that I've just held up has to be even more awesome.
What?
That's right. The AR Drone 2.0 Elite Edition is my recommendation for this week. And pretty freaking awesome. It is larger than the Parrot mini drone that I recommended. It has a high-def camera, which will shoot 1280 by 720. You control it via your smartphone or iPad.
Watch out, Kelly's neighbors. He's got a camera and it's in high def.
That's right. I got some
Coming at your
things.
second floor.
We'll for the episode, I believe what we'll do is I have on just my inaugural outside test flight, I kept most of the video footage from it. I edited it down a little bit, but it's about 8 minutes worth of watching Kelly learn how to fly the drone, which has some points and about, I believe we'll flag it right in the post, but I believe it's at about I think it's at about the 1 minute 12-second mark. I'll have to go back and look a little closer, but basically fairly early on, we'll give you the time. You get to see me almost run it into a tree, which is kind of nice because the camera goes right into an ash tree that hasn't bit it yet. So, but I pulled it out. It came out. I was fine. Really cool. Very similar to the it's the same company, Parrot, And so it has a lot of the same features, which is multiple features to help it on stability. There's an ultrasonic, there's some sound that it does. It actually uses a downward-facing camera to kind of gauge distance down to the ground. There's an internal gyroscope and air pressure sensors. And so basically, when you panic, which I did repeatedly on my first flight, you can hit a button that says land, and you are taken out of the equation, and it starts to take itself down in a controlled fashion. And so long as you have selected land at a point where it can actually land, someplace safe, you're in good shape. And so a couple other little tips, kids. If you go ahead and get it, you're gonna, it's different software than the mini drone. Didn't quite realize that for a while, but I went out and. So Mel, I described in the past to you that my approach to playing like any sort of adventure game where you're guiding the character is my basic cadence is find a weapon, use a weapon. That's kind of what I do. So what would you imagine my first attempt would be? So I've got my drone. What do you think the first thing I'm going to try and do with the drone is?
Attack the cats.
This would kill the cats, I think. I tried that with the little drone, but the big drone, I think there'd be problems. No.
How many cats do you have, Kelly?
Two.
Two? How many did you start with?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay. Never mind. Moving on.
Yes. But obviously the first, if you've got a drone, to me, the only logical thing you can do is say, how high up can it go? That should be. And so on my kind of very inaugural flight, not the one commemorated in the video we'll share, I went out and the thing went up 9 feet and stopped. And I was like, oh, this sucks. Something's wrong here. I should get a lot more than this. And so I eventually realized you go in the software. The software is really nice because it lets you set certain things. You can set a ceiling on how high the drone will go. And I think they kind of say, a bunch of idiots are going to get drones like me, and we probably want to protect them. So let's start you off at 9 feet. And then if you can figure out that you can go higher, then you can go push it up to 100 feet, which is what I did immediately. Said, well, okay. But I have discovered that height is a dangerous thing because the higher up it gets, the more slight little changes in direction kind of get magnified, and you might lose control of your drone. It might start to drift pretty far away.
It's windier up there,
Yes, and so I have I'm not pushing it to the full 100, but you'll see in the video it got up to some decent height, and so it's pretty cool stuff. It's got a good video camera on it. You can kind of turn that on and off. It runs the whole time you're flying it, so you can look down through the controller and kind of view through the front of the drone. So in theory, you go around the corner and still continue to pilot it because you've got line of sight forward. I have found so far as a very inexpert flight, it's very helpful for me to have line of sight to the drone. There's still the trick of when it's coming at you, left is right and right is left. That's kind of an important concept to learn. You'll see in the video I haven't mastered that yet, but it's a pretty cool thing. One of the most entertaining things that I've seen about these is the hacks that people are doing. So it's a nice camera. It's forward facing. It's directly forward facing. And a lot of folks who says that's nice, but realistically, they prefer a slightly downward angle. So they have hacks out there that kind of show in a fairly straightforward way how you can go in with minor modifications and either permanently alter the camera so it's at a 45, or get this little $10 piece of hardware and put it on, and you can adjust it to either straight up, straight down, 45 up, 45 down, and do those types of things. Other really clever hacks to kind of actually use zip ties and some other things to kind of give you almost a suspension system for when it lands. It has enough strength that if you have a GoPro and you want to attach the GoPro to the bottom of it, it will be able to carry that up. You're definitely going to lose some ability to go your altitude with some of that, but it has enough lift you can attach a GoPro and use that if you wanted to go with obviously a lot higher quality video. But as with the mini drone, the controls are, once you download the right software, the controls are fairly straightforward. The line of sight's kind of nice. The kind of default mechanism, once you start it and say take off, it pops up about 4 feet and goes into hover mode. Very stable. It comes with 2 body shells. There's one that's got, you've probably seen it's a quadcopter, and it's got the 4 propellers, and you can put one kind of styrofoam thing around it that's got basically these 4 big circles that go around each of the propellers that are really good for if you happen to get close to branches.
It's a bumper.
What's that?
It's a bumper, right?
It's a bumper, yeah.
Yeah.
Cat saver. And so you can do that, or there's just more of just a standard hull that you can put on that leaves all the propellers exposed. But you have a little more power to go with because you've reduced the weight. So anything you can do to reduce the weight a little bit. But just tons of good stuff on YouTube, all sorts of different hacks that people have done over time. So it's a fun thing. I now can shoot video, so I'm going to cause troubles at some point. The video that we'll include here is remarkably uninteresting, but outside of the fact of going, wow, he about crashed it there. Wow, he about crashed it there. But it's a pretty fun thing. So
have you consulted the neighborhood association? Have they blessed this?
Well, we won't really go into details, but I'm a member. I'm a member of the board. So
Mel, feel free to edit this part out.
But I think so long as I behave myself and keep it in my yard, it'll be good. But it was fairly interesting. About 2 days after I got it, we have within our neighborhood. There's a pretty cool site called Nextdoor, which will let you kind of connect your community up. It's like a Facebook for neighborhoods, and somebody on Nextdoor had posted, "Hey, anyone missing a drone? One landed in my front yard." And there was a big theory to say that's Kelly's drone. And it's like, no, mine's in the box. I'm good. I don't know. So there's another drone aficionado somewhere, possibly somewhere in the neighborhood. But as high as these things can get, you could probably drift a neighborhood or two pretty easily. So
yeah.
But AR drone 2.0 from Parrot, pretty awesome.
So what's her name? Have you named her? Is she a ship of the fleet yet?
I have not. I don't want to get too attached because I'll probably break it. So Lazarus, maybe.
Lazarus. I thought maybe the Alice is the way.
The Alice is
you wanted to go.
That's a possibility. I haven't really reflected much on that. We'll have to do it. The other cool thing, and I totally lack the skill to do this, is there are these folks that are going out and creating these Star Wars shells for it.
Saw those, yeah.
Go in and see like a Star Destroyer or a TIE Interceptor or the Millennium Falcon, and they look fantastic.
I saw a smaller drone where somebody turned a drone into a speeder bike and actually put a speeder trooper.
Yes, very cool. Yeah.
Oh. So what are they doing that out of? Do y'all know? Are they doing it out of foam or some sort of rigid plastic?
Mm-hmm.
So for the speeder bike one, it was mostly the foam and the kind of that it's not poster board foam core.
Foam core, yeah.
Yeah. So you see a lot of that is for the construction, and then for the speeder bike one, they actually went to one of the scale model things that they stole and took the actual rider from Star Wars licensed merchandise and scaled everything else out, and it looked like a speeder bike. It really did.
It absolutely did. One of the other cool videos online I saw, and it's sort of not in the drone category. What kind of is? Somebody took and built a quadcopter helicarrier. Have you seen this?
I have not.
I'll have to find this link later. Built this big quadcopter helicarrier, and then they're out with their RC planes trying to actually land on the helicarrier. And some of them actually did, and it was amazing. It was incredible. I'll find that link and send it out. It's really good.
What could possibly go wrong there?
Mm-hmm. Right?
I'm gonna have to look some of those up. I really haven't looked into much of that, but I bet some people have steampunked some.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool too.
Yes.
I hope they're using spray-painted plastic components and not actual metal components, because that's going to get weighted down pretty quickly.
Yeah, that would be too heavy. Well, a lot of them would. That's why I asked about the foam. I wondered if they're using lightweight foam that's easy to paint.
Yep.
But,
another thing you would have learned about if you listened to our show, Matt, by the way.
Well, sorry, man.
Recommendation from Mel 2 shows ago. So
ask me on more often. If I'm part of the show, I hear it, right? That's the theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Which is good. It's nice that you listen. And I got so excited about my drone, but actually what I had meant to I forgot to mention at the beginning of it is there's a way that you could, they're having a contest and you can win it for free. And so I thought you'd want to try and do that, Matt. And so what they do is they have you read a couple phrases, and then they pick some people randomly who say these phrases to be the big winners. And it's kind of strange because the phrase starts out with, and so you might want to repeat this after me.
Okay.
You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube.
That's oddly specific and coincidental, I think. But okay, I want one of those drones, so I'll give it a shot. So you repeat that phrase for me again.
You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube.
You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube.
And then for the extra prize, which is a specialized, customized hull with your name emblazoned on it, you need to say, let me double check. Let me check the site here real quick.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The site says, just search Nurture and Support or Kelly Tool.
Just search Nurture and Support or Kelly Tool. Gosh, I hope I win.
Me too. I'm
That'd
pulling
be great.
for you. I'm pulling for you guys.
Doesn't feel right though. I feel like I'm being scammed here, but I'm gonna believe because I really want that drone.
It is. You know, and the other thing is and I wanted to make sure. I'm glad we did it now because they took all the contest information down off the site.
That's convenient.
But you're in. I'm pretty sure you're in. I'll make sure you're in. So we're good.
Fingers crossed.
There you go.
Yeah. Subtle. Real subtle.
Right. God, I hope I'm not that dumb.
Yeah,
On that lovely dumb note, we'll move on to social media.
Wow.
Oh.
Judgy Mel.
And I have one of the dumbest superheroes ever to recommend as my social media recommendation. It also happens to be one of my favorites. And this is not official in any way, shape, or form. But the Twitter account is, let me scroll up just a second. Okay. It is at I_am_the_tick. It is Tick of the City. Spoon all the way. I love Tick and Arthur, and this is just a fan account that is out there, and also watches TheFlash. So has nice things to say about it. So I enjoy it. At I_am_the_tick, which goes so in keeping with the Tick's personality to have a long, complicated Twitter handle like that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good account. They tone wise they do a nice job because there's a certain cadence to the Tick, and they do a nice job.
Yes, I noticed that Kelly Tool already follows this account.
Yes. So Matt, do you have a recommendation?
I wish I did, but I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's okay.
That's perfectly fine. I'll go ahead and I do have one here, and this is Best Kafka Quotes. The Twitter account is Best Kafka Quotes. No underscores, anything. So it's Best Kafka Quotes. And this is a site that posts the best Kafka quotes. So it's
not just a clever name?
Not just a clever name. One must not cheat anyone, not even the world of victory. Just a little example of that. And then here's one to kind of brighten your day. Falling black, I was relieved to find him drowning irretrievably in my blood, which was filling every depth, flooding every shore.
Wow.
On Monday. So
that was deep.
So you get some, nice depressing Kafka quotes and occasionally some other goofy things like pictures of dogs. So I can't.
Dogs and Kafka.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun, but it's a fun, I like Kafka, so you can, nothing like a good Kafka quote to start your day off. That's what I say.
And that was nothing like a good Kafka quote.
There you go. All right. Well, this is weird because this is where Mel and I usually go, well, we're going to turn it over to Matt, and we're able to talk about you without you being here, and you're here. So
I am here.
It's a problem. So
live, not Memorex.
I try and keep Mel positive, and Matt's a good guy, and all that. But
lies,
all lies.
But
But even though we have live Matt with us here, we're going to turn it over to previously recorded Matt, who, shockingly enough, you may hear some new material from soon. FYI.
Still no royalties.
That's right. He'll give you all the information on how you can connect us in many different ways. So, Mr. Shivers, thanks for joining us as always. We definitely do need to have you on more often.
I'm happy to. I love doing this.
Well, we love having you on because, as usual, you make us sound terrible.
What?
That
With
booming.
your awesome voiceover
No.
skills.
Kelly makes you sound terrible all on your own.
That's right. Yeah, that's good. Hey, I tell you what, we're going to wrap it up, gang. Hope you join us next week. Matt will not be joining us next week. FYI.
Obviously.
We will continue to be using his voiceovers, though, as much as we like. But we will see you all next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks again, Matt. And this is Kelly saying thanks.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Bye-bye. You can contact us on our website, nurtureandsupport.net, or email us at nurtandsupp@gmail.com. That's NURTANDSUPP@gmail.com. Or tweet us at nurtandsupp on Twitter. You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube. Just search Nurture and Support or Kelly Toole.
Nurturing and supporting. Darn it.